Hello, second graders. So today we are going to make our very own line landscape is what I call them. So on this picture you see I have lots of different lines. I filled in all the lines with different things in them. Now this picture, it's a little hard to see the whole thing since it's so big, but we'll make our very own in the one that I have here. Now the best way to start to make your own landscape is to look up on your iPad what a landscape is. So landscapes are spelled Landscapes. So what I'm gonna do is I looked up at Google and then I pressed in images. So landscapes can be a lot of things. With this, you see that the first picture right here, that is called a tundra. So that's where a snowy mountain might be. A landscape might also be a lake. It also might be where it's just the desert. We can see that landscapes can be lots of different places. In fact, they can even have mountains in the background. Now, it's a little bit different from what we usually see. Since we live in the cities, we usually see what's called a cityscape. And cityscapes are when you see in the horizon, which is the flat area right here, right? That's where you see lots of buildings, right? So when we're in St. Paul and we go over the bridge to Minneapolis, a lot of you, let's see, you'll see the cityscape of Minneapolis, right? And so you would see this part, right? So you would see the horizon line, which is this line right here, and that's going across horizontally. And then you'll also see the city itself in the background, right? But what we're gonna focus on is landscapes, right? We're not trying to do cityscapes. Landscapes is what we're gonna do. So our first thing is we're gonna pick out which kind of landscape do you want. Do you want mountains? Do you want beautiful flowers in the distance? Excuse me. Do you want hillsides? Do you want a lot of trees? There are tons of different ways there. If you can see something small up front and then large up in the distance, you can do that. All right, so I'm gonna set mine in the side after I'd chosen mine. Now here's the thing. The one I made is a landscape that has hills and then it has a sun in the background. If that's what you want to do, you can do that, okay? Now, for demonstrating this, I'm going to be using a green marker. You guys should be using a pencil. The reason why I'm not using a pencil right away is because my pencil lines aren't going to show, and you'll be really sad not to see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off making some hills, because I'm just going to do a hilly version. If you want to do snowy mountains, you can. If you want to do a desert, you can. Just remember this has to have a lot of details in it. Okay, so I'm going to start over on my side of my paper. You might not see it right away. I'm going to make my hills. They're going to go up and down. I'm going to maybe add a couple more hills up in the distance. And I'm going to say that it's like it's gonna be dawn or sunset. That's when the sun is super duper close, and I'm gonna make that sun right here in that center. And after that, this is when I'm going to start making my lines. So we know lots of different kinds of lines. I'm gonna flip over my page just so we can practice our lines first, right? We know straight lines, and straight lines can go vertical, they can go horizontal, and they can go diagonal, right? We also can do wavy lines. We can do different kinds of wavy lines, right? We can do swirly lines, curly lines, right? There are lots of different lines. Zigzag lines, dotted lines. We can do broken lines, right? You can do any of these kind of lines to fill in all of your area. So what you're gonna do, oh, you kind of see it in the background. So you're gonna choose what's gonna go where. So for this hill right here, I think I'm gonna do some vertical, nope, not vertical, silly me, diagonal lines, right? For let's see, this hill right here, I'm gonna kind of make it look like grass. So I'm gonna add some awesome zigzag lines. Now, you might not see some of the stuff that I'm doing just because my camera kind of cuts it off, and that's okay. For my sun, maybe I'll do some dotted lines. So I'll have some dotted lines here. Remember, dotted lines are as if you have all these dots that connect together, kind of like a connected dot situation. And in the back, look I have all this area in the back that I can fill. So I can decide if maybe I want to split my sun, not my sun, but my sky. I can do something kind of like how I did here, where it kind of looks like the rays of the sun. So maybe I'll do that. So I'll do kind of some squiggly lines. They're called wavy lines in order to make those sun rays. And then in the sun rays themselves, maybe I'll kind of do what I did before, go back and forth with those swirly lines. And then maybe, you know, if you want to add this just for fun, you can add a couple of shapes. So maybe you want to do some hearts, maybe you want to do some triangles, as long as they turn into some sort of line, okay? And that's it. That's all you guys are doing today. You're gonna tell me what kind of landscape you're making, if it's gonna be a hilly one, a mountain one, a desert, a place where it's icy, if it's underground, if it's underwater, any of those. And that's it. And then you're gonna draw it for me. And I wanna see it look like this. I wanna see it fully in pencil, not marker like me, remember? And you're going to make sure that it's full of dots and it's full of lines, right? I wanna see this landscape full of lines because it's called a line landscape, all right? And we'll be back for our part 2 tomorrow. Bye, my friends. Hello, second graders. So yesterday we started off on our line landscapes. We drew in pencil, not in marker like I have here, our different landscape. Remember, mine was the hilly one with the sun, and then I added lots of lines. The lines could have been with dots. They also could have been made out of hearts. They could have been the swirly lines. It was up to you, remember? After that, remember, we said to just stop. So we're gonna start off tracing. And tracing is when we take a black marker here and we're just gonna carefully go over all of our pencil lines until every single one of our pencil lines is covered. So as you can see here, I'm not taking that long to do it, right? Because I know where I drew before, and I'm gonna make sure to go over all of them very quickly, right? Now, for you guys, you might think that this is kind of the worst part of the assignment, right? You're gonna be like, ugh, this is taking forever. I can't do anything else. Ugh, it's so boring, right? Now here's the thing. The reason why we do this is so that when we color this later, our markings that we made are gonna be easier for us to see, all right? And also it's working on how you guys see all your different things. Now, after this, if you have lots of spots where you colored before, all left over, and you're kind of feeling bummed about all of these spots and you don't want to color over them with your colors, what you can do is you can simply erase your color spots. But don't erase if you think that it's to get rid of any of your beautiful art, right? So that's all for today. You're just going to trace everything that you drew before. And then we're gonna get to our third part tomorrow. See you all soon. Bye. All right, friends, it's the moment you've been waiting for, the coloring. So as you can see, I have only a few different kinds of markers, probably not as many as you guys. And I'm gonna use these to color all of my lines. Now, if you notice with this, I worked on a couple of different things. I worked on making sure that everything was kind of different in between. Not all of the colors that were next to each other were the same color, right? So I was making sure that I had different kind of colors in between. I also was working on a thing called craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is when you are really making sure that all of your spaces are full of color. I'm gonna show you guys how to make it the easiest way. Now, a lot of you can go in coloring like, all right, gonna fill it in and gonna make sure I get all that space in, not gonna go outside the lines, and great, that's it. Now, well, this looks good at first. We can see that you didn't quite get all the way to the ends here, and we can see that there's a lot of white spaces in between. That's not really good craftsmanship. So what I wanna do is I wanna take the edge of my marker. I'm gonna just carefully go on the edge, go all the way up, and I can even go all the way around in order to get all of that color out. Now you might notice with some of that black of your marker, you might not see, it might be fading away, and that's okay. Because look, our orange is looking beautiful now. Look at that, right? Like that, right there, that is great craftsmanship. That's what you guys should be striving for at all times. Now I'm gonna take my green marker, and I'm gonna go every other for this one. So I'm gonna start with this one. Just like before, taking the edge of the marker, not going up like this, right? Going at that edge to go all the way across. And look at how nice that's turning out. And now I have all of this room in order to use a different color. So maybe I'll use this seafoam green. And here's the thing, if you're doing hills, if you're doing tundra, if you're doing a mountain, they don't have to be the same colors. You can make them whatever color you want. So maybe for this hill, I'm gonna say, you know what? It has flowers on it. So it has yellow. And that's where I'm gonna get it. Now, as you know, black and yellow, they can mix together a little bit, right? So be a little careful with that. Just like before, I'm gonna go every other with this one, right? Still using that side of my marker in order to get all of that through, right? All right, now I'm gonna say, maybe I'll do some pink, right? Now, if you guys are getting the idea, go ahead and get started coloring. Have me on in the background so you can see how your coloring might be different. Like if you start like this, try holding your pencil to the side. Or not your pencil, your marker to the side like that, okay? And that way you can get a lot more color out. You can also see that these lighter colors, it shows more of those lines. So that shows you how easy they come through. So for the sky, just like I did over here, maybe I want to make the sky super colorful. Maybe it's like when the sun is setting and it goes from blue to purple to red, you know? Maybe I want to show that kind of the day. And just like before, I'm gonna go back and forth with my marker, and I can go a little bit faster with this one too. So maybe I'll skip that one and that one. I'll go to this one here. Now, what if I'm thinking this is going too slow? Maybe I'll try to go a little bit faster. So I'll go back and forth, still on the side of my marker, and still making sure that I get all of that area. If I accidentally go over to the other side, that's okay. Don't worry about it, right? I still want you to practice to ensure that you guys get that great craftsmanship. Look at that top there. I can go back a little bit. Boom. How nice is that? Skipping 1, 2, and then I can go over here. And I can go all the way across. Now, if you have these hearts and you want to fill them in with a different color, you know what? I want to see it. I want to see you guys go and have some different fun colors in there, right? All right, let's see. Purple, this kind of fun magenta-y. Let's go and do that next to the blue. Like I said before, if you're feeling kind of comfortable with your coloring, you think that you can make yours as nice as how I'm doing it right now, go ahead and give it a try with me in the background here. See if you can hold your marker to the side, not straight up like you're used to, and go back and forth, right? Making sure that you get all of the edges and don't go over, right? if you want to try my technique while going a little bit faster, you can just go back and forth, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then once you get to the edges, what you do is you take your other side and you just kind of move your hand that other way. That way you can get all of that color out, right? And that way it's not gonna hurt your hand to go through all of that work, right? All right, last color, woo! I think I wanna do this pink, right? Because the blue and pink and purple rather, will all work really nice together. Ooh, look at that, friends. And for yours, maybe you wanna have only 2 colors right next to each other. Maybe you wanna do what I'm doing, or maybe you wanna have a full rainbow. I would be interested to see the full rainbow. I think that you guys would have a lot of fun doing that, and it would be really creative and colorful. All right, friends. Oh, I'm feeling really good about this coloring. And you know what? I think it's better than the first time I colored this. Look at that. Some of the edges aren't all colored in. We got some of these spots in. Now, if you turn something like this in where it's just like a little spotty, I'm gonna say that this is good, right? I'm gonna say that you tried your best. Maybe this is the first time you colored that way and you just wanted to try. I think that this is great. But if you turn in something like I had right here, oh, I am gonna be so happy to see this. So I would love for you to turn this into Seesaw once you have it all done, as of we have done all of the other days too. All right, so stay safe, have fun, and I hope I get to see you all soon. Bye.